Class dismissed.
Where's the microphone? There it is.
Okay, people, welcome back to another Fwoosh Weekly. As always, I'm Robo, and ooh, can you feel it? It's July. Con season! Or what would have been con season if there were Comic-Cons here in the next month or so. I think they're kicking up about August, September, October. Oh, it's July. August is after July. But don't tell the toy companies that, because they're just piling it on still. And maybe that's what they've been getting ready for the past few weeks or months. Just plastic money. But to kick things off for the fourth week in a row, how about a little boss fight? Why? Because the Popeye Classics olive oil was the first thing revealed right after I had the last weekly ready. I mean, I think it had just went up on Patreon. Ba-boom, here we go. But we knew it was coming. They had said they were going to do reveals on Fridays. I know what I'm getting into whenever I say, oh, I wonder if there's going to be anything for next week. And what a way to round out Wave 1. We have Popeye, of course. It's Popeye Classics. You got to have the main character. Bluto, the antagonist, again, makes complete sense. You got to have your Skeletor to your He-Man, your Megatron to your Optimus Prime. Some deep diving with castor oil, which I hope is a permanent fixture when it comes to future waves. You know, couple of main variants, something expected, something not so expected. And with olive oil, another main character, or two, because she comes with Sweet Pea. Looks amazing with her alternate heads, and is that some soft goods skirt I spy down there so the articulation won't be hindered? I see what you're doing, boss fight. Still no group shot to give us an idea of relative scale, but I figure that's coming. Maybe with the pre-orders that are hopefully going up soon, maybe some more boss fight reveals, either or. I have a feeling these are right around the corner. Moving into figures we already knew about, but here's new pictures territory, and we'll visit that territory several more times during this weekly. GameStop posted up pre-orders and pretty promotional pictures of the Jazwares AEW Unrivaled Series 6. Mostly redos of figures we've had before with little tweaks to them like Jericho and MJF, and then Penta and Phoenix in their gold ring gear. Sheeta looks amazing though. There's been a couple of females in the line previous to her, but I think she is the best looking so far. Poor Jake Hager though, he gets one basic picture standing there, he gets a package shot, and then gear. All the rest of the figures solicited on GameStop get their full turnarounds, couple of action poses. Jake, nope, you got shorted. The big takeaway here, though, is that GameStop has these up for pre-order along with Series 5. Jazwares recently said that they were going to get into more stores, more distribution channels, because the big gripe has been that we can't find them on pegs, or we just find one leftover figure. This is definitely a step in the right direction. $20 a pop, and through GameStop, both 5 and 6 is due in September. Wonder Festival was held a few weeks ago, and at that show, Storm Collectibles had quite a few things to show off, but as we've learned in the past, that doesn't mean we're going to get that in action figure form. It just means that it's a possibility. It's not until we get actual promotional images that I feel confident that we're going to eventually get pre-orders, and that's what we got this week with a nice, pretty promotional shot of the Golden Axe Gilius Thunderhead and Chicken Leg. It doesn't show Chicken Leg, but if you go back to the Wonder Festival pictures, it is included with Chicken Leg, and I didn't know the name of that thing was Chicken Leg. That's awesome. Of course, I didn't know his name was Gilius Thunderhead, so we're learning all kinds of things today. It's good to see Storm Collectibles continuing this line because I've heard great things about the Skeletons and Death Adder, and I've actually messed with Axe Battler. He was pretty cool. Plus rides, especially odd-shaped rides like Chicken Leg and the Dragons. That's a standout in any collection. You can pick, there's figures, but no pre-order yet, hopefully soon. You know how we've talked several times about how Warner Brothers has passed down edicts and rules about how no trigger-type weapons can be included with DC characters? Well, third-party companies do not care about that, mostly because they're unlicensed and they're trying to slip these, you know, through the cracks. Like this Mixmax Studios, what's it called? Stab of the Hades Death Slayer. The biggest image on the montage kind of has a skull to the side, and I don't know if the character that they're aiming for this to be has ever had that look, but looking at the images, you know who it is. I mean, it's Death Slayer from Stab of the Hades. If certain parties saw how many bullet-projecting armaments came with this figure, I feel like they'd probably have a stroke. But looking at the figure itself, I love the different textures used here, kind of giving it a uniqueness, but also because of the design, a familiarity. The brightish blues and oranges don't come off as gaudy, even with the gray undershirt that has some print on it. There's so much going on, but it fits so well together. It's crazy. $90 scheduled for the first half of 2022. McFarlane Toys went crazy with the listings this week, showing us a lot of stuff we already knew about and we had seen the basic promotional pictures for, but more pictures, more information. We gotta go over them, right? First and foremost, the Suicide Squad. We had already seen the Build a King Shark assortment of Bloodsport, Peacemaker, Polka Dot Man, and Harley Quinn, but again, closer look. Bloodsport has a copper look to the orange parts on his costume, which will become more relevant here in a minute. There's a reason I'm bringing that up. But then, I guess I'd never noticed the skull feature to his mask, and that's really prominent here. And no guns, for a character that produces his own guns. Oh, Warner Brothers. Woo. Same with Peacemaker. He doesn't come with his, well, Peacemaker, but I can't help but think that this is a kick-ass pose. Polka Dot Man comes with a polka dot effect to feature his polka dot attack. He's just a polka dot boy living in a polka dot world. But I'm actually surprised to see the goggles are a separate piece. Usually, when it comes to McFarlane Toys, that would be a completely different variant exclusive to somewhere else. Then there's Harley in the red dress, which it was weird at first, but now that we've seen more footage, more trailer, she's apparently in this more in the movie than we originally thought. And the javelin makes sense too, from what I've gathered in the trailer. My favorite picture out of all of these, though, is this one. Just because of the huge pair of shorts with the flipper legs sticking out the bottom and showing how, well, how large King Shark is, not how small Harley is. Speaking of King Shark, you either have the option to buy the wave and build him, or you can hunt down the Walmart exclusive gold label Mega Fig King Shark. It's essentially the same figure, but there is a different print and color to the shorts, and there may be more shading on the skin here and there, but then the Mega Fig also comes with dismembered soldier parts. But that works out for me because really, when it came down to it, I only really wanted the big beefy boy. I got my pre-order in at Walmart. We'll see if it actually ships. And the link is in the description. It's been popping in and out. But that's not all on the variant exclusive front. Target also has a listing for a unmasked Peacemaker. It's marked as SDCC exclusive, and since there's no San Diego Comic-Con, I'm guessing it's just through Target. So it should say Target exclusive, but... And this is a good exclusive. It's just John Cena's head instead of the helmet thing. And really, it's not the greatest likeness in the world. In fact, if you got this, you could probably get a WWE figure and swap it out. The same likeness gripe could be applied to the unmasked Bloodsport. If you're picking and choosing and you want the unmasked more than the masked, the unmasked versions also come with the King Shark parts, so you don't have to buy figures you don't want. But if you buy everything, if you're a completist, you're gonna end up with shark parts all over the place. Oh, we're not done with the McFarlane Toys not San Diego Comic-Con exclusives, though. Target also listed the armored up Justice League Darkseid, and he's just, you know, this feels more Darkseid-y to me. I've kind of gotten used to the half-naked look, but seeing it in the blue armor on the chest and, well, I guess torso, yeah, I like this one better. But then there's also the Mortal Kombat Bloody Cabal. Again, a color swap on a Mortal Kombat figure, but it is an exclusive. It seems to happen a lot with Mortal Kombat, but again, you make that money, you pay for those molds, then you get new molds, or well, new spawns in this case, but who's counting? Darkseid is $40, Cabal is $20, due out in August, and that's the same for the Suicide Squad figures. I forgot to say that, except they're $25 a pop. To close the doors on DC today, Target also posted their exclusive Build a Batman Futures End Batman Beyond Batwoman. That's a lot of bats. This wave is kind of the oddball when it comes to the Build-A-Series because Target's rolling them out one figure at a time with a couple of months gap in between each one. I'm not familiar with this version of Batwoman, but I like the design. It's kind of a mix of past and future and present all three. I'm surprised we didn't see a variant version at the same time like we did with Batman Beyond and then Shriek, but I'm sure it's coming. It's McFarlane Toys. Hopefully when they do, it's the same costume, but with the blues instead of reds. I like that slightly better. It separates her from Batman Beyond while still having the same aesthetic. And sneaking a peek at the back, it seems like they're still keeping Blight a secret, or at least Blight's look. We know it's Blight, we don't know what he looks like. I guess we'll find out in September or somewhere around there, because this is $25, comes out in October. McFarlane Toys has been sporadic with their Fortnite releases, dwindling down to the point where, well, at least I thought there wasn't going to be any more before Hasbro takes over the license. But then there was a glimmer of banana-shaped hope out there in the distance. If Peelybone is the last Fortnite figure that we see from Todd, then he's going out with a bang. Because look at this thing, it's amazing. I mean, it's Peely with a skeleton. And are intestines the only internal organ that a sentient banana needs? Is that how that works? Either way, a fine addition to the Peely family. $27 should drop in September. But that's not all from Fortnite. Oh, that rascally Preturnio.com on Twitter has revealed yet another Jazwares Fortnite Legendary Series figure. I say that because John has posted a few sneak peeks lately, and it shows that Jazwares, they're not laying down. They're running all the way to that finish line, hauling ass. And it's not just color swaps. They've given the whole heave-ho for Vendetta here, showing again that they're in it to win it for the next 6 months. If I remember right, going by toy lines in the past, the license changing hands doesn't mean the previous company's product can't be on the shelves after the deadline, only that they can't produce or ship it. So I have a feeling we're going to see Jazwares Fortnite on the pegs or online, wherever they may show up, even after Hasbro starts producing their own. Vives and I sat down with Kyle Wadaga of Super 7 this week to talk about their newly revealed Power Rangers. Oh, I feel like I've done this several times this week, though.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Just do it, you dancing monkey. You show the new toys, you spout your catchphrases, and then you get off the stage because boo! Boo! In fact, ultimate!
Just steal my thunder. Lots of good info over there, but what it breaks down to, really, is it's a different line for different collectors. You're allowed to choose what you want to buy, and everyone else is allowed to choose what they want to buy. It's okay. It's just toys. You guys know me. I know nothing about Power Rangers, but hearing about things like the Cowboy Putties or Mr. Tickle Sneezer, it makes me a lot more curious about what I've been missing over the past 30 some odd years. Has it been, well, almost 30 years? Somewhere in there? But then things like the Clown Putty make me want to just run away and hide, because one of the big things for me, just from an action figure standpoint, was learning that the waists on the putties and the Rangers have a ball joint. So it's not just the hinge or the float, it's also movement at the waist when it comes to tilt and forward and back and stuff. The series will be based on Mighty Morphin for the foreseeable future, so you're going to get the whole team, and you're going to get a bunch of crazy monsters as the line goes on. $55 each, releasing spring 2022. This week, Loot Crate gave us a better look at the NECA Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles video game, Armagon, and I'll be damned if this isn't the second humanoid shark I've talked about this week. I mean, isn't this hobby crazy? Some of the things we take for granted that we talk about on a daily basis is just a wall of confusion to non-collectors or people who don't care for pop culture. Like one time, several years back, quite a few years back, I got a new phone, was texting somebody, and I was saying something about Boba Fett. When it went through, it came out on the other end as boob feet. And I thought, phone, why don't you know one of the most popular bounty hunters in the Star Wars universe? And then I stopped and thought about it and realized not everybody knows Boba Fett. Good times. Anyway, Armagon looks pretty good, but if you didn't get in on that limited time Loot Crate deal, then you're kind of shit out of luck. NECA also showed some nice promo shots of the upcoming Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon Chrome Dome. Oh no! It's not Chrome! But seriously, it looks exactly like it did in the original cartoon and the solicitation picture they showed us 6 months ago. So if you were expecting something else, I don't know what to tell you. And then finally, a tiny Twitter tease for NECA's TMNT not SDCC exclusive. Biggest one yet, 4 figures, loads of accessories. Some of those accessories will be large. Should be interesting, and if I haven't already missed the reveal of that, it should be soon. Oh, it looks like Bandai is gearing up to release their SH Figuarts Black Widow movie Black Widow. Well, maybe it's a nice day for a White Widow. This was revealed at a virtual con at some point last year, or this year, or sometime. I don't know when it was. But like I said about the Storm Collectibles, that's not a guarantee we're going to see the transition from prototype to plastic. But I'm guessing this will go up for pre-order around the time of the movie release, or soon after, or before. I don't know these things, okay? What do you want from me? As I was walking in here, I looked at my phone one last time and noticed Medicom made an Instagram post. In that post, they announced that the upcoming MAFEX Spider-Man Far From Home Stealth Suit Spider-Man would be coming with an alternate unmasked Peter Parker head and neck for the already released Spider-Man Far From Home Upgraded Suit Spider-Man. Whew! That's a lot of spiders. Medicom's been doing this a lot lately. I don't know if it's an apology for the slipping release schedule, or they're using that time after a figure gets pushed back to add more stuff for no extra cost. That's crazy to think about. Kind of awesome, but doesn't excuse how late some of these figures are. Maybe it's a little bit of all that. Who knows? But either way, here's some extra stuff for your other stuff. Here's a damn quick turnaround for a variant, the Amazing Yamaguchi Deadpool 2.0 X-Force version. In case you missed it just 7 days ago, Kaiyodo solicited the Amazing Yamaguchi Deadpool 2.0 with better sculpt, better paints, better articulation, arguably, depending on your stance on Revoltech joints in general. I'm completely happy with version 1 of this Deadpool that I have, the mobility, the look in crazy poses, so I was gonna pass on 2.0. But I had passed on the variant of version 1.0 that was also X-Force, so this, oh, it got me, because I can experience the new joints and the new feel and the new weapons and everything, but I can also add a new look to the Wade Wilson shrine. Damn it, toy companies, they just inherently know how to just... $82 due in November, but that's not all the Amazing Yamaguchi news this week. There's also this translucent Carnage, and it looks delicious. You know what it looks like. Cherry Jolly Rancher. I hate good-looking translucent figures because and there is a precedent for this style when it comes to the symbiote, because Kaiyodo also released an Amazing Yamaguchi translucent Venom for, was it the home release of the Venom movie? At least overseas. And that's kind of the same deal with this. This is available on the Japanese site 7net to coincide with the Venom Let There Be Carnage movie. There seems to be a couple of options. There's one page with just Carnage by himself, and then Carnage with a movie ticket. So if you're intrigued by this at all, the link is in the description. I don't know if they ship to the US. I didn't try to actually pre-order it, but I don't know, maybe worth a try. And that dovetails nicely into some Marvel Legends news, because those Marvel boys, they can't let anybody have a day to shine. You showing something, Power Rangers? Ba-boom! But they even went a day ahead of time and revealed the PulseCon exclusive Marvel Legends retro-carded Venom. This is what a lot of people have been asking for, a Venom on the Omega Red body with Venom parts added on, and it does look good in the shape and the stance, kind of that otherworldly look with the bulgy muscles and stuff. But it being an exclusive, they went a little further with it. There's the retro card calling back to the 90s Spider-Man animated series, so they decided to make the Venom match that aesthetic. There's red and blue cell shading style painting on this that we saw from that cartoon, and it's very, you're either on one side or the other. You either hate it or you love it. But it is a con exclusive, and when it comes to that, this is the perfect type of thing. It's not reaching as wide an audience as a regular Venom would. It's only catering to a smaller audience, but it's also harder to get. You can only order at one place. Damned if they do, damned if they don't. Me, I'm a sucker for this kind of paint job, even though I wasn't big into the animated series, so I'm down. I don't like the holes in the traps up here on the top of the shoulders, though. Dwight has explained that they couldn't fill those in because this body is also being used for the reissue of Omega Red at the same time. But it also gives me faith that we may see this Venom down the road in a regular assortment in more comic book inspired colors with some kind of tendrils that plug into here. And but that's not all. As soon as the live stream ended today for Power Rangers, there was the reveal of the Marvel Legends PulseCon exclusive MODOK World Domination Tour box set. Again, this is not going to appeal to everybody, but again, it's a con exclusive, so it's not taking up any spaces. It's just something there for people who want it, and if you don't want it, I never read Next Wave, so I'm not familiar with this look for MODOK or the Captain, but it's neat for Next Wave fans. And I'll admit, well, I don't have to admit it, you already knew what I was thinking. It does look kind of spiffy with the Elvis hair in parts and pompadour and, yeah, I don't know, the glasses, the shooting hamburgers. Not a fan of the price creep, though. Well, at least for Venom. It's listed at $32, but it also comes with a special con-type outer protective box. I can see it. I don't like it. But, okay. MODOK for $73 seems more appropriate, though. Wasn't the single MODOK around $50? And then an additional figure would be $23, so the math works out there. Unless you think the regular release is overpriced, too, which I've seen that complaint. Can't disagree there, either. Pretty toys, spend some money. But I'm going to flip over here now because we're done with the PulseCon exclusives, at least for the moment. In other Marvel Legends news, Marvel.com themselves, in the wee hours of the morning, revealed some figures from Spider-Man No Way Home. If you consider Spider-Man suits a spoiler, then you may want to skip this section. In fact, go to the timeline. I've got it all chaptered. Just jump to the next chapter. You still here? Okay, here we go. First up, J. Jonah Jameson, and we saw him with this look at the end of Far From Home, so it's not really a spoiler. And I like it, mostly because it's the same Jonah, but it's also a natural progression. He's been modernized for the modern movies. I've seen some complaints of the hair while we didn't get the version from the other Spider-Man movies, and all I can say is, you got something against bald people? Is there a problem here? You come here. There's also Doctor Strange, which is odd because the Doctor Strange movie comes out shortly after the Spider-Man movie, but we've already seen that Doctor Strange is featured prominently in No Way Home, so this makes sense. I think it reuses some parts from previous Doctor Strange figures, maybe the legs, maybe the boots, maybe the arms, but it's definitely a new torso and then an overlay piece. But then when it comes to Spider-Man, I don't know which one's first, which one's used more in the movie, so we'll go with the red costume. Yeah, he went back to having kind of an Iron Spider motif with the gold on the spider, but it's not a bad thing. I don't like the lack of paint on the webs, though. I think we saw that with Far From Home, too, didn't we, with the upgrade suit? But then there's also this black and gold costume. I have no idea how this works into the movie. I just like a good black Spider-Man costume. I think there was something like this in the video games, though, too, wasn't there? Looking at the pops and the other Spider-Mans in this costume from other companies, it seems like the red isn't supposed to be there. So this may be a case of, oh, we got concept art, it still had red there, or they're swappable parts, who knows? No information on how these get released, if they're all in one wave, or if something's an exclusive here, there, everywhere. I'm sure we'll find out soon. Jumping back to that Power Rangers live stream, though, that just happened a few hours ago, they did reveal some new Lightning Collection figures. Again, I don't know Power Rangers. If I had any connection, it would be Mighty Morphin. And at least in Wave 10, there's no Mighty Morphin. So I don't recognize Zeo Yellow Ranger or the Dino Charge Green Ranger. I like the alternate head here. And they said something about inkjet printing for the facial features. I don't know if that's new for this line or if that's just what they're calling it now instead of photoreal. There's the In-Space Pink Ranger. And did they say something about this one being the one that finishes off the team, or was it Zeo Yellow Ranger? Again, I don't know Power Rangers, but I think one of them does. The one that popped out at me is the In-Space Phantom Ranger. Now, I think I said this a couple of months ago about a reveal, and I can't remember the name or anything, but it was a Ranger in disguise with an Obi-Wan robe, a helmet, black costume, and I said that, oh, that would be a good base for the Marvel Comics Overdrive. And I changed my mind. I think I'm going to use part of this. It may be too thick, too bulky, details are wrong, but take this and the helmet from that other Ranger, that's a good stand-in, I think. But when it comes down to it, the most interesting thing to me is the bad guys, the crazy villains, and the Mighty Morphin Eye Guy is right up that alley. Like the other deluxe monsters, the bigger size figures, it seems like there's a lack of paint, like there should be some shading or something to kind of accentuate the bumps and the eyeballs all over the body, but just the pupils being painted and then that awesome glassy huge eye in the mouth. I think, oh, that's the centerpiece right there. That's the big draw. The Rangers are $23. Eye Guy is $32. And they'll all be shipping January of 2022. Okay, in life, sometimes there's things that are just meant to go together. And sometimes it's so obvious you don't see it until it's presented to you. Chocolate and peanut butter, biscuits and gravy, bacon and eggs. I may be hungry. But behold, the marriage of the Jurassic Park Tyrannosaurus Rex and the Transformers Kingdom Megatron. Hasbro presents to you Tyrannicon Rex, along with Autobot JP93. I feel like the Autobot name could be a little bit snappier, a little bit catchier, but I get it. I get the reference. It just doesn't roll off the speech synthesis chip. Speaking of that, I guess it could be the same as B-127 before getting the name Bumblebee in his own movie. Either way, this set is brilliant. I mean, you throw some natural T-Rex colors on the alt mode of that Megatron, and me not being a Beast Wars fan and skipping on that Megatron, just the color swap on the robot mode and new head, that's enough for me. It looks like a completely different Transformer. To me. I get it. I get it. You're a Beast Wars fan. You love that Megatron. You just see a head swap in the colors. That, to me, it's a new character. It's okay. To go along with that, JP93 is a good-looking robot. Well, at least until you get down to the feet. Or lack of feet, I guess. And on top of that, a fairly accurate vehicle mode. So yeah, this whole set, like I said, it's brilliant. A little pricey at $104 though, but you have until December to decide whether you want to spend that money, because it goes up then exclusively on Amazon with limited stock on Hasbro Pulse. Oh, you thought I was going to end this one way with G.I. Joe, but I'm going the other. Mezco solicited the next figure in their G.I. Joe 1/12 collective line, and I didn't really expect Roadblock. I was actually surprised when it wasn't Snake Eyes, but when I saw the loadout for this figure, I had to go for it. I had to jump in. You can essentially make either version 1 or version 2 with the full vest and chest harness, the thigh holsters, the choice of different machine guns, all the hands, the helmet, the 3 different heads. Honestly, it's a chef's hat and apron away from being the perfect Roadblock figure. Well, I gotta point out the pants look very basic, very flat with some seam lines and a couple of pockets, but ooh, double elbows. He's more than ready to take on a couple of Cobra Troopers. Wink. I hear a lot of people saying that we've already gotten 4 Roadblocks in the classified line, and all I can say is different line. Different company, different set of collectors. Mezco can't worry about what Hasbro does. They're doing their own line, and they have their own plan, I think. I've always had the theory that Hasbro had a say when it came to Bandai releasing their Star Wars SH Figuarts figures. Just how things fell into place sometimes, that Hasbro would get their figure out first, and then Figuarts would follow behind with that same character. I can't help thinking the same thing here. Hasbro got all the Destros out. We see a Mezco Destro. Hasbro got all the Roadblocks out. We see a Mezco Roadblock. Because really, most companies would start out with Snake Eyes, but Hasbro hasn't released all the Snake Eyes yet. Although Commando seems to be shipping from some places right now. And I guess that last Roadblock hasn't shipped yet, so maybe I'm full of shit. I don't know. This is just the things that I think about in the back of my head when I'm not messing with toys. Maybe this is Mezco's plan all along. And I'm good with that because the figures look kick-ass. $95 scheduled for spring of 2022. And that is it for this week. If I missed something, and I'm sure I did, I always do, we'll swing back around to that next week, either on Monday Foosh Live or the next weekly. If you're interested in seeing these pictures up close without me or somebody else all in front of them going,
"Dance, monkey, dance!"
I'll be posting all of that along with links to pre-orders, more information on the Foosh front page Saturday at noon. But if you can't wait that long, most of those links are in the description. And yes, I skipped the leak for the G.I. Joe Classified Series Zartan with the extra parts, the extra heads, the different color scheme, because I want to see the actual promotional shots. Because in this day and age, with how crazy people are with customizing and how good they can make things look, I trust it. I'm sure that that's probably the PulseCon exclusive for G.I. Joe, but at the same time, I don't want to talk about it and then somebody pops up with, "I made that. That's my custom." I just want clearer pictures, a better look. If you enjoyed this Foosh Weekly, comment, like, subscribe. Much love to the plus. If you're interested in seeing videos early or just in a position to help out the channel, patreon.com. Wherever you may be watching this, I'll always catch you on the Foosh. You know, I'm almost at the point of thinking that any day now, this bubble's gonna burst. There seems to be a set age for this kind of nostalgia that these action figures are based on, at least the majority of them. And as we get older, and the younger generation's not quite getting into that same nostalgia, will there be less toys? Hopefully, it doesn't happen until I'm shuffled off this mortal coil. There's an ending thought for you. End it on a down note.